Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to our live stream. Today we're going to be working on section 3 of our textbooks, which is Rhythm in Compound Time. It is page 29 in our workbooks. So I'm going to jump to that now. So here we go. You can all see me in the bottom of the screen now too, so it's not so impersonal. Hope you like that. So today is rhythm. So, I'm just going to bring this over my screen here. Here we go. So, today we're looking at compound time. So, in simple terms, compound time is those time signatures over 8, such as 6/8 or 12/8. You may or may not have already played with those time signatures, so I'll certainly provide you with an explanation of what they are if you've never seen them before. But you may have already seen them, and now this is sort of adding to your knowledge. So, first things first, simple time are the time signatures we've worked with mostly so far. They can be defined as time signatures where the value of the beat is a crotchet. And more specifically, that is that it's a beat that can be divided equally into 2 quavers, which are quaver pulses. So, if the time signature is based around crotchets, like 4/4, 4 crotchets in a bar, 3/4, 3 crotchets in a bar, 2/4, 2 crotchets in a bar, then you are talking about simple time. And there you can see, we call this simple because anything that's based around a crotchet can be split in 2. Now that brings us to the new time signature types that we're looking at today. So compound time. These can be defined as time signatures where the value of a beat is a dotted crotchet. That is, it can be divided equally into 3 pulses. So a dotted crotchet, when it's split up into quavers, is split up into 3. So we say that's compound time. In compound time, the top number of the time signature tells us the number of pulses per bar, and the bottom number tells us the value of these pulses. So, similarly to here, here's a question, 6/8. So, in America, they call quavers eighth notes, just like they call crotchets quarter notes. That's why 4/4 is 4 quarter notes per bar, or 4 crotchets. 6/8 is 6/8 notes per bar. Hence why you can see there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 quaver pulses per bar. It's worth pointing out though, that even though there's 6 quaver pulses, in 6/8 time, there are actually 2 beats. And I'll point out what I mean. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many strong counts are there? There's one on this beat and one on this beat. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Or another way that we can account that would be 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and So we say that 6/8 actually has 2 beats in a bar, but it has 6 pulses in 6/8. I've just sort of explained what Deborah Smith's already said just a little bit further down the page. But the reason that we need to know that is because, as well as being compound, because there are 2 main beats in the bar, we call this compound duple time. Now I know from visiting the breakout rooms yesterday with the various band leaders that your teachers were talking about things like simple time and compound time, and so this is what we're talking about here. That is where we're now learning about these words specifically. So a number of your songs were in simple quadruple, which meant 4/4. Well, today we're working in compound time, in this case 6/8. Now, it's good to see the humorous comments in the live feed. I'm glad you're all now knowing where you need to be in the book. I'll come back to talking about the work now, but I am watching the live feed. If you've got any questions actually about the work as well, feel free to pop them into the live chat, and I'll address them from time to time as I go along. It's worth noting there's about a 20-second delay between me actually talking here in my room and you seeing it on YouTube. So, here is an example of compound duple, and the quavers are grouped in 3s. So, previously, in simple time, usually our quavers are grouped as TTs. Well, now they are TTT. So, quite often, you'll see dotted crotchets in this rhythm now. That is what takes up a whole beat. We'll have a dotted rest if we need a rest. We won't see a lot of rests. It's also worth noting that to fill up an entire bar, we will now use a dotted minim. And you might be thinking, oh, well, why would that be the case? That's 3 beats. And you've just said there's 2 beats in a bar in 6/8. Well, if you break it down, the dotted minim is 3 crotchets in length. And with each crotchet being 2 quavers in length, mathematically that equals 6 quavers as well. We won't see a lot of them anyway in our work, but we'll definitely see this one. Just a reminder, I don't speak Samoan. I can take questions in English or Indonesian. Okay. Let's have a look at this question here. Here is a lovely little rhythm using dotted crotchets and quavers grouped in 3s. Now, in simple time, we called 2 quavers TT. Therefore, 3 quavers in compound time will just be TTT. We've seen a dotted crotchet before. We've seen the dotted crotchet in a rhythm like this. Yep, in simple time. And when we did that, that was called tam T. So, that one on its own is called tam. So, there's our rhythm. Cool. Okay, so I'm going to say this rhythm to you now. What I'll do is I'm going to tap the quaver pulses like this. And I'm going to say this rhythm to you. So just listen at this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Tam, tam, T, 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 tam, T, 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 2. You notice I use the word to as the rhythmic value there because it is 2 full beats of the bar, 2 beats in 6/8. That is 2 dotted crotchets worth to make up that dotted minim. Let's all say this question together now. Have a go in your own rooms with me right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Tam, tam, T, 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 tam, T, 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 2. And one more time. Hopefully it isn't too loud. I've had to adjust the sensitivity of my microphone. Hopefully you're hearing me clearer than normal. Just means I'll have to tap a little softer with my clave so I don't deafen you now if you're wearing headphones. So let's try clapping this rhythm together. We'll sit back a bit further from the microphone maybe. Let's clap this rhythm together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there is an example of 6/8 time using dotted crotchets and quavers. Notice that beat lines have been put above the bar here to show you how the 2 main beats of the bar map out across the line. We're gonna have a quick look at another question now in the next page. So this is now moving on to page 30. Here's an example of 12/8. So therefore there are 12 crotchet beats, or pulses I should say, 12 crotchet pulses per bar. Let's quickly count to see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Dotted crotchet there is 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we say this is 12/8 time because there are 12 crotchet pulses, so 12 quaver pulses across each bar. You can see the way it's grouped though when it's counted that there are 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and beats per bar. Therefore we call this compound quadruple. Compound because each of the beats is comprised of 3 quavers in length. Even the dotted crotchet is still overall in length 3 quavers. And then quadruple because there are 4, like a quad bike has quad bike has 4 wheels, so 4 beats. In answer to the question we just had, at the moment you don't need to fill anything out here just yet. We'll come back to that in a minute. So we've got let's say that rhythm first. Sorry, I haven't gone through and said the rhythm with you. So let's say this rhythm together. I'll say it to you first whilst tapping the pulses. So this is it. I'm not going to count from 1 to 12. That'll take way too long. I'll just count 7, 8. Actually, I'm going to count 10, 11, 12. So 10, 11, 12. T, 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 T. Tan, tan. T, 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 tan. 2. Cool. Let's try saying that together as a class. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. T, 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 tan, tan. T, 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 tan, 2. And one more time. Let's try clapping that rhythm together. 1, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Let's move along and see a couple more rhythms before we actually do some practice questions on the next page. So, what we've done so far are the rhythms we learned in Year 10. We've got a few more rhythms we can look at right now, and here is one of them. It's a crotchet followed by a quaver. That was called a tar when we've done rhythms in the past. That's called a T, so we call it tar T, with 2 pulses on that one, 1 pulse. So tar T. And then we can have the reverse of that, which is T-tar, which is short, long. Here it is in a rhythm. I'm going to say this rhythm. I know I'm doing a lot of demonstrating. We'll get into actually writing some rhythms down in dictation format in just a moment. So here is this first one. Let me say it to you. So this one would be this. Ta, ti, ti, ta, tam. Ti, 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 ta, ti, ti, ta, 2. Try saying that with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ta, ti, ti, ta, tan. Ti, 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 ta, ti, ti, ta, 2. And one more time, let's try clapping that rhythm. So notice that the ta-ti is like ta-ti. So it's long followed by short. And the ti-tar is short, long. Let's try clapping that together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cool. So we've essentially learned as much as we need to know now about rhythms to start doing some dictations. So I'm going to skip a few things. Before we get on to actually doing a practice question here, I do need to show you how to do the shorthand. That was asked earlier, do we need to fill in the beats? Well, I'm actually going to use the questions above in a moment to do that. You'll notice firstly though, if you look at a question like this, that we've actually got every pulse marked out. So in 6/8 time, you can see that Deborah Smith has given us pulse line, pulse line, pulse line, 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 with the first and fourth beats a little longer, just to let us know that's where the main beats fall. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1 and 2 and so on. And then from there we can then mark off when we hear sounds. Now it's a little bit different to the markings we do in simple time. So I'm going to demonstrate a few now. I'm actually going to go back a page and I'm going to jump up to this question we did here, and I'm actually going to just adjust Deborah Smith's example a little bit to make it work for our purposes. So you'll see here that we're just given one main beat line here with a little dot next to it to indicate it's a dotted crotchet. I'm actually going to expand that out now and put the rest of the beat lines in. Notice I'm making these ones a little shorter than the main beats. I'll give you just a moment to fill that in. I'll give you some thinking music while you're doing that. I was playing by ear. I've never played that song in my life. Hopefully that entertained you enough to keep you amused while you're writing those lines in. So there we go. Now how do we do this? in simple time, if we wanted to mark off quavers, we'd just like mark 2 lines off, wouldn't we? But that's not how we do it in compound time. What we do is we actually can mark off the number of sounds we hear on each pulse. So for example, for this beat here, T, 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 you can just mark off T, T, T. That wasn't as easy as it could have been. Let me try again. That's better. Whoops, still bad, but I'll fix it. There we go. So what about this one? It would be the same. T, T, T. So, like so. This is a tam. It goes for 3 quavers in length. We just mark off where the sound starts. So for a dotted crotchet, you can just mark off the first beat because it's implied that it goes across the 3 lines. Similarly here, this is one sound that fills up 3 pulses. So we can mark it off like that. Then T, 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 so 1 line per thing. Tam, that goes for a whole beat, 3 pulses, so. What about this one? It goes for the rest of the bar. Where does it start though? It starts on the main beat. So you can just mark 1 sound. Cool. So there's an example of how we shorthand quavers, TTTs, and tams. I want to demonstrate how to do the tar Ts and T tars, and then we can get into actually practicing a few questions today. So where was it? Here's a question that needed that. So again, we're in 6/8 time, so how many pulses do we need per bar? We need 6, and we've only been given 2 lines. So we fill out the rest. Evenly spread out. And again, we can mark off where we hear the sounds. Now this is a bit different. Let's have a look. That's a tar or a crotchet. How long does it go for? It goes a crotchet is the equivalent of 2 quavers. So the first sound covers those 2. So we mark off the first sound, which carries on here. And then the T falls on the 3rd pulse. Ta, T. And then this one, T, ta. Where did they fall? This one, T, ta. So we'd mark off. Cool. Let's have a look at this next one. Tam. It was for the full 3 pulses. So we just mark off the first sound and leave the rest empty. T, T, T. There's a sound on every pulse. This one, ta, T. It's the same as that. So it was sound for 2 and then 1 on the final beat. Pulse. T, ta. 1, 2, 3. And finally, 1 note that takes up the whole bar. Cool. That's essentially how we do the shorthand. Let's jump into actually practicing a question now. So we're going to make our way to the very top of page 31. We're not going to do every question on this page today. We'll probably do 3 questions today. We can leave the rest for some practice later. So I'm just actually quickly looking for my book so I can see what the actual answer is. It's good to know, and then I can tell you more about what we're doing. Probably should have had that prepared before. Okay. Cool. Okay, this one's going to be a relatively straightforward one. So we're working from here. You can see that the shorthand has been popped in for the start of the bar, the start of the question, and then the end of the question. And your job here is to fill out the rest, marking off which pulses you hear sounds. Now, just to give you a heads up, this question is going to be pretty straightforward. It's just going to be using our dotted crotchets. I'm going to write it upside down just because that's the way Deborah Smith's got it in her question just there. Sorry. Now I've got a bit more space. So a sound that goes over 3 pulses, and then we'll hear these as well. We'll hear TTTs in this question. Cool. I'll give you a few moments to write anything down there to help you. Have those as your notes in your book. Okay, here we go. So we'll do, let me have a look. We're going to do 3 questions, I think, today. Yeah, we'll do 3 questions. I'm just looking at what they are. Yeah, this should be good. So let's do this first one, which is at the very top of page 31. The first bar you'll hear is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then the last bar is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll now play the whole question 5 times. Follow along. I will count to keep you up with the pulses and try and fill in what you think you're hearing. Firstly, on these pulse lines. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll play that again. Second of 5 playings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll play that a third time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here's your fourth playing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here's your fifth and final playing. Check over your answer. If you're confident you've got it right, you can start writing the notation onto the stave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, let's start having a look at the question. So I'm going to play you the second bar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you probably heard long followed by short, short, short. Tam, T, T, T. And if we look at the second bar, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Where do those sounds fall on the first beat? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. On the fourth pulse. All that's left now is to translate that into notation. So the sound that went for those 3 pulses is the dotted crotchet. 3 individual sounds, 1 per pulse, is 3 quavers. So this one was a dotted crotchet. And this one was a dotted crotchet. Cool. Let's move on. We're going to do 2 more questions right now. And we are going to move on and do this next one. Now this next one actually uses the same note values as just before. It's just making use of dotted crotchet, tam, and 3 quavers, TTT. The third question we do in a moment will make use of the other patterns, the tar-t and or t-tar. Right now, we're going to stick to these 3 just to get our ears and pencils working in synchronicity. So, you'll notice here that you've not been given the beat lines. That's because in the Year 12 exam, you don't have to use beat lines. I strongly recommend it, but using these beat lines in this way is just one of a number of ways that you can shorthand rhythms, but I reckon this is the best, hence why I teach it to you. So, how many beat lines do we do across, or pulse lines should I say, do we do across the question? 6/8 time means 6 pulses per bar. So we go long, short, short, long, short, short, evenly spread out. This bar again, long, short, short, long, short, short. Long, short, short, long, short, short, long, short, short, long, short, short. So please write that into your workbooks now. You notice the long ones are put there to show you where the main beat points are. A dotted crotchet at this stage will only ever commence at the beginning of a beat. That's worth knowing too. So, we can also pop the shorthand in for the notes already given. So, for example, T, 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 and then tam. Similarly at the end, tam, tam would be tam, tam. And then that leaves us the part in the middle for us to do. As mentioned just a few minutes ago, this question too will only make use of tam and TTT. Give you a few moments to write that in. Give you some listening music. There you go, that's probably enough time to get that set up. And I should practice some new songs, shouldn't I? Okay, let's have a go at this question. This time I will not count out loud. So I'll take that support away. But you can always count yourself. In fact, right now you can count as loud as you like because you're not in an exam. You're not even amongst other students that you might be interrupting with your sound. You can count as loud as you want. In the exam though, you tap your toe softly to the pulse so you know where you're at. Okay, let's give this a go. I'll play it 5 times. It will be including that bar and that bar. So do watch and listen for that. Here we go. First of 5 playings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll now play that a second time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here is your third playing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll play it a 4th time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll play it one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, let's quickly go over the answer there because I'm well aware that we're already into our 28th minute of this video and I like to keep them under 30 minutes. So let's quickly look at this question. So, so you probably heard the sound on each line. Let's go from the start again. So you probably heard the long sound followed by the shorts. Okay, I'll put the notes in for you. Oops, that was dodgy. Try again. That's better. Dotted crotchet for the tam, and then T, T, T. Okay, let's do one more question. I know we're going in almost into our 30th minute now, but I think it's really important we try one of the questions with the tam T or the T tam. So this question is going to make use of dotted crotchet. Whoops, why did I do the dot there? That was a bit silly. There. And because I'm kind, I'll give you a bit of a heads up. This question in the dictation section will make use of the ta, T. One sound, second sound on the third pulse. You can see here that the T-tar is used in this part, but that's the part that's already given to you. I can tell you in this part it'll only be these note values. In fact, I might have lied, and maybe one of these is not there. But that would be making it too easy if I told you which one. But this is certainly in there. So, here is our question. The beat lines have already been placed there by Deborah Smith. Thanks, Deb. I will play through to the end each time. The idea of having the part there is to get you used to really focusing while you're hearing it here and writing it down quickly, because these sounds can then distract you. And that's how it is in the exam. So if I was to play those questions, those notes here on their own, you wouldn't get used to how the question works, where there's other sounds to follow that might get in the way and distract you. So let's go from the start. 5 playings of this, then we're almost done. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I'll play that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here's your third playing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here is your fourth playing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And final playing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Let's quickly work through this question. Excuse me. And we'll get the answer. So, at the start here, da, 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 da. Long, short, long, short. So, how do we shorthand that? Da, 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 da. How do we go in the next part? Da, 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 da. In other words, there was a sound on every pulse, so we didn't have this one in there. It was just this one times 2. There we go. So the final thing we need to do is now just put the notes in properly. So that sound goes for 2 pulses. It's a crotchet. This sound goes for a single quaver. There it is. Same thing again. Crotchet, quaver. T, T, T. So there we go. And T, T, T. And there you have it. Let's quickly say that rhythm together and then we'll sign off for the day. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ta, T, ta, T, 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 ta, T, ta, T, 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 tam. There you have it. Compound time rhythmic dictations. Signing off from the live stream now. For those of you who need further help, please jump back into the Zoom meeting. Have a good day.